Get to know all your favorite VRChat DJs all in one place. This is VRCDJLIVE.
Back live again on VRCDJLIVE, and good to have everybody this Thursday. My name is Rob Roman, and welcome to another installation of VRCDJLIVE, the only program that I know of, and what I would only assume may not non-competing. I would say that we have in the VRChat space where DJs talk amongst DJs, and we also get to know all of your favorite everybody's from the community, from dancers to producers to staff to lighting to all sorts of good stuff. We definitely want to cover it here on the program, and great to have everybody in chat. It is a live program. So at any given time that anybody wants to ask any questions for our guest today, please feel free to drop it off in the chat, and we will get to it in due time. Because listen, we have a 2-hour program today, and it is a very good one. Today's absolutely. I can't wait to get started. So without further ado, let's take a look at our guest. He's a drum and bass DJ and producer from the Netherlands, performing VR shows such as Muzz Fest and Sly Fest, IRL shows like Liquidity, Bass Fighters, Wiggly Fest in Canada, and Meat Gravity in Vienna, and just celebrated 4 years on Twitch. That's super exciting. Everyone, please welcome to VRC DJ Live 10XX here in studio.
Hello. It's how you doing?
Wonderful to have you as a stat. It's funny because like we were talking about whether or not you wanted to be on the show using your face or webcam, and like you have this model that everybody knows in VR, and it's fun to have you in VR as this static robot thingy.
True that. Yeah, it became a thing like the past 2 years, I guess, or 1.5 years. So why not roll with that one?
Was it created for like you just wanted to have some sort of space robot? Is there a lore to it? Is there something?
Well, I started out like when 2020, I had like no avatar whatsoever. So it was just this pre-made Shiba Inu kind of avatar that VRChat had. And I'm like, okay, I need something. And I remember I started with this robot base model, and I didn't know what to do. So luckily, my good friend Jan came in and kind of helped me like model it and, do all sorts of shenanigans that you see with my avatar, like the world inside me exploding into a big cheers and all that. So he did all that, and yeah, super happy about it and still rocking that one.
I think this model is so unique, especially with a lot of other like desktop DJs in VR, especially because every time I come in, this model does a little DJ thing. Did you want to showcase that off?
Yes, hold on. Let me check.
Because it's just like, whoa, my gosh, like, oh no, oh man, he's DJing. Watch out now, he's DJing. It's either that or
I mean, some people do think that whenever they come in, I'm just preparing everything for the stream, that they assume that I'm in VR, but in reality I'm not. It's just like a pre-animation from Jan that he did. So it kind of looks somewhat immersive, even though most people know at this point it's just an animation.
Dude, it's super unique because I have been kind of seeing that lately, where people take inspiration from other people and how they present themselves. And I know we talked with Jiggy last week over the fact that like he had tried doing the VR thing, the VR DJing thing, but he was explaining how much fun he has not being in VR to do it, and people can see him dancing around in his room while he's kind of doing the thing. But again, a lot of people have been taking a lot of inspiration from the fact that your avatar is actively moving at the same time. So I have a feeling that you might have been the one that stunted that whole process with that model.
I don't think so, to be fair. I think Muzz was earlier.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I've only seen him as a big floating head. So, I mean, that's...
Okay, yeah. No, I think he did it earlier. And then Jan was like, it would be fun if we do the same. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Why not?
Sweet. Well, listen, guys, this is a live show. We're going to be here for a little while and kind of picking 10XX's brain a little bit as far as all the stuff that he's got going on. And again, if you have any questions during the live show, feel free to drop them off in chat, and we'll be able to rattle them off. And, it could be something as silly as like, what is 10X's favorite color? I mean, I would think people would want to know, even though they don't ask. But still, all in all, I want to start off by saying, holy crap, man. I feel like, there's a lot of inspiration that that we take from a lot of the things that you have accomplished in your career so far. But I also believe that there's a lot of people that really haven't dug too deep into the things that you've done. I know we've had conversations over the fact that, like, I was like, so I remember at Liquidity we were talking about, I was like, so how did the DJing thing start in VR? And you were like, I've been DJing for more than that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to know. So, I mean, the fact that you've just been doing DJ stuff successfully for the past 10 years, give us a little take about how you're feeling right now. And obviously you're really busy with this.
Yeah, well, so I'm definitely more busier than all the other years. Hence, that's why I'm a bit lacking now with streams currently, and also like being not as active on Discord. It's a lot. It's a new experience, but it's a cool experience at the same time. Like, I love to have stuff scheduled in advance already. I'm not so much spontaneous. I'm like the guy that basically needs to know what am I doing next week Friday. So currently I'm doing everything around music production, talking with my manager about stuff, how we can release it, doing social media content, streaming, even though not as much anymore, but still trying to do it once a week. And yeah, a lot of stuff is going around currently. And yeah, I'm also, since I said music production, I finished my newest track 2 days ago. So this one is also done. Another one coming up. So there's a lot. It's also kind of a bit of a weird feeling at the same time, because I used to, have time to do just nothing. And I find myself having less and less time for just not doing anything. But it's also good because I think, I like to have a schedule, as I said earlier.
I know I've been experiencing that recently, and I don't know if it's just because of the news that we've been hearing either on social media or in regular times of everything that's kind of going on in the world right now. But I even find myself, when I wake up, I blink my eyes and it's nighttime already. Do you kind of have that same thing going on with the amount of music that you produce throughout your day?
Well, yes, I'm currently trying to balance the new way I'm doing stuff, because it's kind of hard to schedule it, because most people don't know, but I do have a full-time job still. So I still do my 8-9 hour shifts every day. Then after that, I'm kind of winding down a bit. I have like an old friend from my old hometown that I occasionally play games with, like 2-3 times a week, where we're just, winding down after work, basically. And then I'm going to go straight into music production or doing social media content. And as you said, it's like, oh shit, it's 2 a.m. Guess I need to sleep.
Probably should go to bed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever. So yeah, it's currently like a lot going on. I still love it, so that's good. And also the fact that the time goes by so fast. It's sometimes I need more than 24 hours, but it's still cool.
So before we even get into a lot of the different things, I know I sent you a DM earlier this week, just being like, I feel like a lot of people, they know everything about VRChat with you and the things that you've included in the game and the things you've done in the game. And then as far as like things that you post on Instagram and maybe even the rest of the social medias, I think a lot of people understand that. But I want to take it back, like way back before all of that, so we can get a kind of a generalization of how you even led up to this point. But there's a couple of things that we have to touch upon before we get into the show. My producer actually told me at the beginning of the week, and he was just like, do you realize that you have 10XX on for the 10th episode of VRChat, of VRCDJLIVE? And I was like, I was like, whoa, I didn't plan it that way. But at the same time, I'm like, how quirky is that, right?
Nah, you just have to own it. No, you planned it, right?
I have to kind of be on my best side and just be like, yeah, no, we're cool here. We know how that is. But more importantly, kind of a lot of people in your community, and honestly, I don't know the answer to this, so I'm very interested. Who the F is 10XX anyway? What's going on with that?
Oh my God. I actually don't know how this happened. I can't remember anymore, but for some reason it became a meme over the years, and now it's an inside thing of like who, like whenever people are like, I've seen the chat, like you see who Burger Beast copycat, and it became a meme. I don't know exactly where it came from, but I'm taking it. Absolutely, it's funny, and it's a little bit of an insider as well, which I like to have, some shared internal thing between the community and me. And yeah, it's funny. But don't ask me where it came from. I don't know. Maybe the chat knows, but I really can't remember where it comes from.
I know. I feel like the next question would be, where's the Who mug? Where's the Who shirt? where's? I mean, I would only assume that you do have a 10XX shirt, but it would be more like 10XX Who?
I mean, there are quite a couple of merch. I mean, I haven't been listing it or anything. Like, I'm not super big at promoting that. But I know, for example, another person from the community, Terina, has like a full rip of 10XX stuff, and it's also looking pretty cool. Maybe I should do like some beanie just saying Who ? Or something like that.
I mean, at least it'd be a good incentive because, like, I don't know. I think a lot of people see your branding 10XX and just be like, "Oh, that's the guy." But then the shirt that says 10XX Who kind of invite people to come up and be like, "So tell me more about this." And you're like, "Well, let me tell you a little something."
Yeah, in the end, it's just a little meme that the people created, and that's it. And I'm just going with it because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're just doing it like that.
That's awesome. I love hearing that too. So again, normally when we start the program in VRC DJ Live, and I feel like almost every podcast does this, and it's not like I'm trying to take a template away or anything, but I think the general public really wants to know a little bit more about you, your interests in coming into VRChat, as well as things coming up, as well as even the origins of things. So like, even before we normally get into the fact of you being like, did you DJ before you came into VRChat, or did you VRChat before DJ? Obviously you've been DJing beforehand, and and obviously we're also going to get into more of your EP as well, because that's super important. And I must admit, I listened to it a lot yesterday, so I was very excited. But give us a little bit of talk to us a little bit about how you even started thinking about DJing. I know you were kind of going off of a different alias at the time, or you know, what was life for you several years ago, even before VRChat, when it came to joining into the DJ scene?
So, well, I started back in 2009. My dad's side of the family is very musical. Like, my dad is in a band and plays live. My cousin is in a band, plays live. My grandpa is in a band, plays live sometimes. And it was naturally that I got, I also got like instruments. I got a guitar when I was a kid, and used to practice guitar quite a lot. And then with between 2007 2009, I heard 4 artists. I was Justice, Prodigy, Pendulum, and Deadmau5. And that got me interested into electronic music by quite a lot. And then 2009, around Christmas, I was like to my dad, like, hey, would it be like, could I maybe get some turntables? Would that be a thing? And the cool thing is, because my dad is also a musician, he kind of knows what, that those stuff like just brings joy. And he was like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. So in 2009, I got like the vinyls, and I tried to basically produce like, I got a couple of pair of turntables. Then I got a couple of vinyls with my pocket money, which were super expensive, what I had no clue earlier about that. And then I had started with like happy hardcore. Like, I had 10 vinyls just playing happy hardcore, trying to beat match and all that. And later got on Traktor to do time code, so it's not as expensive anymore. And yeah, 2009, 2010 is where I just practiced pretty much every day, because that's what I wanted to do. So I never had any other interest, actually, like none that I can recall. I mean, I played World of Warcraft, but I wouldn't call it an interest of like, life-changing interest. So I was like, nah, it's mostly music.
What, you didn't want to be a professional World of Warcraft player?
Yeah, honestly, I thought that back then. Like, I was like, I'm playing Wrath of the Lich King. I should do that. No, but it was the time I just wanted to DJ. It was super fun to me. It was a crazy new experience. I wanted to get away from the acoustic kind of stuff that my parents are doing, my family is doing, and yeah, that's how I got in. And at the same time, what also happened in 2010 is, in Austria, you are legally allowed to drink with the age of 16, which means you can go to clubs with the age of 16. So naturally, people start going out with the age of 15. And that was the time where I found a bar where I hang out quite a lot with my friends and get to know the bar owner and all that. And when I turned 16, they basically asked me like, "Hey, you're now 16. Do you want to DJ for us?" And I was like, "What? That's crazy!" I remember I got a Facebook message, and they were like, "Yeah, we can do this. You will get 40 hours for an 8-hour gig." And I'm like, "Sorry, 40 euros for an 8-hour gig." And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's do
let's
this.
go.
I'm super, yeah, let's go. Like, don't even think about it. I'm gonna do this." I mean, in retrospect, this was super low, but that's how it was back then. And yeah, I got my resident gig, played there every week, every Saturday, if I recall. And that was also the time where I did, where I had an apprenticeship, basically meaning that you are learning towards a job. And so I had to travel quite a bit from Monday to Friday, and on Saturdays I just did the gigs, and that was going on for I think 1 year to 1.5 years. And then the bar/club shut down, and someone else picked me up and said like, "Hey, we like what you're doing. Want to play for us for 100 euros for 8 hours?" I'm like, "Yes, let's go." I mean, money was never the point why I was playing, but it helped me buying new stuff for the for my DJing stuff. That's where I discovered Beatport, for example. And then I also played there for another year. And then was like 2012, 2013. After that, I finished my apprenticeship at work, so I had to focus on this one. So I couldn't really teach that much because of the final exams. We also have mandatory military service for half a year, so I had to do that. So it's even less time. But somewhere along the lines, I think around 2012, I also picked up producing. And I didn't do it much, maybe once a week or twice a week. Not really that much into it, but still wanted to do it somehow. And yeah, I think over the course from 2013 to 2017, I just produced and just tried to figure out what's going on, what to do. And in 2019, I decided to move to Vienna because originally I'm from the south of Austria. So Vienna was the capital city. Obviously, I wanted to go there to see the big people, like, the big DJs and all that kind of stuff, and just do more. And then in 2020, early 2020, I finally moved there. But then Corona happened. And I was like, okay, cool. This is not going great whatsoever. Because I used to be the guy that goes out every weekend and just checks out every club and do just, typical night out. And yeah, I couldn't do that. I had no clue. I think after the third week, I was like, this is like, I'm getting crazy at home. Like, yes, music production. Yes, I can play Rocket League or whatever. But I'm getting a bit insane here. I need social contact. And then it was a Saturday, I think. I just saw this game VRChat. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let's fire it up, see what happens. And I did not think that this would change or like result in so many opportunities where I'm like, damn,
Right?
This is crazy. Like what I experienced here was just incredible. And yeah, when I got here, then the past 4 years, been streaming here in VRChat, still doing gigs, still doing music, and it's been a great journey so far. Especially the last 4 years. I think the last 4 years had more impact than all of the previous ones. But obviously, I used to DJ already, and I had a little bit of knowledge of music production, so that kind of helped me to already show up with some sort of skills, I guess. So, and yeah, 4 years later, here we are talking to Europe.
It's been quite wild, especially the fact that we did open the fact that it's been almost 10 years, a little bit over 10 years since you even began this journey of better understanding of music and DJing and producing and even just doing live entertainment as well as virtual live entertainment, which, just as you just explained, is so incredible. The fact that it has been happening for the past 4 years. And not only that, we do talk a little bit about the boom of 2022. A lot of people came in around 2022 and just this huge explosion of just content and DJs and worlds and groups and all that sort of stuff. And, here on the show, we kind of do a little bit of digging and a little bit more investigating of just like where all of this interest came from. How much more are we going to endure? Like in 2025, is it going to go twice the size? Is it going to, are people going to burn out? Stuff like that. So it's kind of a nice investigative issue, topic that we love to talk on here. But even more so, like now that we're here and now that you're here, tell us a little bit about how you're feeling about those past 10 years of just like when you were 16 and you were getting into the bar. Obviously, you can't go back in time to tell your 16-year-old self, like, damn, look at us now. You know, you're performing on these huge stages and stuff. But like, how are you feeling about all of this for the past several years?
It's crazy. Again, like especially the past 4 years. In the beginning, it was just like me honing a skill. Like the opportunity to stream so much kind of gave me more and more confidence to basically keep on track with the DJ skills, or like with the track selection and all that kind of stuff. But the beginning was amazing. Like the 2010 when I started in a bar for 40 euros at like the whole night, and it's. I always wanted that. Like I always wanted to have gigs. Like ever since I was 16, I always wanted to do that. So I kind of manifested it in a way. I'm like, this is what you're gonna do. This is gonna work out no matter what. I am still by far not at the point where I'm saying this is working out fully. Not at all. Because in the end, I still have a full-time job. I still have to pay bills and all that. So there's still a lot of room to improve, but I think we're on a good track. And right now, also with the community, that helps me in so many different ways, not just music. It's incredible to have, you know, the community there, that I can have time to make music, that I can stream, just, you know, be myself, have a good time. And yeah, I'm still hungry for it. I'm still going. So
I mean, it's also kind of I feel like it's common knowledge to understand that you've been really killing it on this game, and not only in VRChat, but just the game of the career, and understanding the role of doing huge live events and even having a manager now. Like I think you're going down the right path, and I don't want you to stray off being like, oh, because you have a full-time job that you're not succeeding, because you're rocking it, dude. Like you're succeeding. And you know, one of the things that we keep forgetting is over the past couple of years, you know, when COVID did show up, it kind of put a hinder on everything, and we do have to kind of go back and be like, damn, 3 years of our lives are kind of gone. But just like you were alluding to, like even finding that time and finding those avenues to come into VRChat to perform, be a part of things, and continue to work on your craft behind the scenes, you know, that does show how hungry you are in the game, and wanting to further on your career. So definitely kudos to you for continuing on and having that creative mindset to kind of kick ass like that. I want to ask a really cheeky question, because occasionally when it does come down to the other hobbies and things that a lot of us have to go through that sometimes we don't want to. If there was no music in 10xx's life as not a DJ, and if let's just say it didn't pan out when you were 16 or 15, did you have anything else in mind of what you wanted to do?
Not at all. Not at like zero.
Not even like go to university or anything like that?
No, nothing like that. I was horrible in school. I actually dropped out. That's why I started working like at this apprenticeship, where I think it's called vocational training, you know, where you have 3.5 years where at a company where you're also trained. I just wanted to drop out of school in order to start working and earn money. I still had to learn, which was quite ironic, because I kind of back then I said to myself, I don't want to learn anymore. But that was the route. And I mean, I'm a learned IT and telecommunication guy, even though I have no idea what the hell that means, because I don't do that at all. But for some reason I have that official statement that I'm that. I don't know. But yeah, go. Sorry. It's just I had no plan whatsoever what I would have become else than that. Probably a guitarist, probably also playing in a band. Like it was always music. And like, you know, I just turned 30, so I don't remember what I did back then when I was 15, 14 that much. So yeah, music was always, as far as I can remember, the number one goal, that I want to do something with it.
You know, since we've been in VRChat for such a long time, and I know for me, I think it's coming up to 6-7 years or something like that, some ridiculous number. I occasionally have moments where I talk to myself and say, you know, I'm learning a lot about internet applications, computers, building computers, computer parts, troubleshooting computers. Do you ever think sometimes that you would go into computers or become a nerd like that?
No, not at all. Yes, I do like. I mean, I do like playing video games and stuff like that, but I don't think that has necessarily anything to do with like computers in that case. For me, it was just I want to make music. I'm just doing it for the whole apprenticeship. I'm doing it for the sake of getting money and for the sake of making my parents proud. Because obviously, back then they're like, dude, you have to get a real job. Like music is not the thing. We're all doing it on the side, right? Even though that's also not fully true. My dad did it a couple of years full time. But it's still the thing. Like, you know, they wanted to see proof that I can do other stuff as well and have my foot in the real world. But yeah, no. For me, music always the thing since forever. So
how does your dad take the music that you create? Because I'm interested in that too. Because I would assume that your father has like a whole different interest and different genre compared to some of the harder stuff that you could create.
He likes the melodic stuff quite a lot. Like sometimes when we don't see each other often because like he's from Austria, south of Austria. I'm living in the Netherlands currently, so we see each other once a year, maybe. But whenever I show him new music in the car, for example, he's actually popping his head and he's like, yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I like it. It's a nice melody, a nice rhythm. He doesn't know what drum and bass is, but obviously he understands rhythm and elements in it and all that. So it's pretty cool. But when I show him heavier stuff, he's like, yeah, not my thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I would assume I was waiting for the moment where like your parents would come to your show and they're wearing the 10XX shirt and they're just like, "What's my boy?" Like,
honestly, that would be so great. Like, if for whatever reason I really could make it to like a bigger stage where I can invite my parents, that would be crazy. Just to be like, hey, just so you know, guys, I'm doing this. Like, how do you like it?
Oh, that would be, but I mean, it would be weird being up on stage and not knowing, and it's just like they show up secretly, and you're looking out in the crowd, and they're just chilling there, and you're just like, oh, I got to be on my best behavior. Yeah,
I would be nervous. Stop drinking beer on the stage.
Until they get reckless and they get kicked out. Kind of going into a little bit more about the music scene when you were first getting into it. Obviously, me being in America, especially during that time, we had our own little things going on. But talk to us a little bit about the inspiration of the music that got you influenced to play some of these clubs at the time when you were just starting out. I mean, you did say that you had a couple of interests like Deadmau5, Pendulum and stuff like that. Was that the generic scene that was kind of going on in the clubs at the time?
No, not at all. Back when I started DJing in 2010, there was no electronic music whatsoever in my little hometown because there was just they called it Black and R&B night, and that was the thing. That was the thing that they loved to play. It was just, you know, typical R&B stuff, and I was like, nah, this is not my thing. And so when I got my hands on the decks, I remember the first track that I played was called Martin Solveig Hello. And I was like one of the first ones just doing electro house kind of thing. And yeah, it worked out pretty great. Justice, Deadmau5 were like, no, they didn't know what that was, but I didn't care. So it was just me doing the electro house thing, but apparently it worked because people came over to see that, and I continued doing like those electro house nights. And after I think after a while, somewhere in between, I changed to dubstep and future bass for a couple of years. There's no scene whatsoever in Austria for that, or like in Europe in general. So there's that. And yeah,
I was going to ask, like, how did you even learn about some of these artists? Was it like kind of like from a local music store, or obviously the internet was around? So was it just something you found online, or? No,
it was online. I just found out about it online. That was it. I remember my cousin showed me Justice, and I fell in love with the Cross album. That was back in 2007, 8, something like that. And then Pendulum, Tarantula, also obviously classic. And yeah, that was the thing. back then, but no one actually played it. So I did all my research, or like I just tried to find more and more in forums back then, and all the streaming sites. Well, they were not streaming sites; they were illegal sites like LimeWire and stuff like that. But
do you think
yeah,
do you think Daft Punk kind of fit in that category too? Because it just seemed like Daft Punk was really rocking the charts around that time, and obviously Justice having their own little kind of corner of that electronic music market.
Yes, 100%. That was also a big part that I like. I just loved Daft Punk, although I never listened as much to it as I did, for example, with Justice or Deadmau5. Because I remember I followed Deadmau5 quite heavily because he was back then just in the category to do progressive house and house, so it fitted my DJ nights as well, and that's what I did back then. So this was more the kind of things that I went for.
So you'd say DJing on the same stage as Deadmau5 would definitely be a bucket list for you?
Yes.
Yes.
Justice literally, for example, also like they played yesterday in Paris, and I am so bummed out that I did not see them because that's on my bucket list super high, and I just like right now with me being in Netherlands, Paris is like 3.5 hours away, 4 hours away. So yeah, would have been cool to see them, but I'm still gonna keep an eye out to find them.
I mean, definitely wait till he comes out with like another album or something even much longer and innovative too. I honestly I think he's still kind of mourning the what was that Captain Meowskers or Meowskis or the
Meowingtons.
Yeah. Like I mean, I know that was a long time ago, but I mean, yeah, it's kind of the forefront of the whole Deadmau5 franchise. So just seeing a lot of the things.
Yeah, remember, like Deadmau5 got his name because he found a dead rat in his PC, and that's how it became a thing. So that was his stuff. Good for him, I guess. I mean, he made a big ass brand for it.
Honestly. One more question before we kind of carry on, because again we have a ton of things to talk about today. But I am further interested because the 16-year-old me would not have enough courage to just go into a club or go up to a promoter and be like, I do this thing and can I perform in front of all these people? So I would assume that you kind of went to this club a lot to the point where you got to know the staff and then they got to know that you DJ'd, or what was the whole process on that? And especially like what kind of advice would you give to anybody that is, a little timid to trying to play a place?
I think a lot of stuff changed nowadays, especially with like Instagram, Blue Sky, and SoundCloud and that stuff. So internet is pretty upfront right now. Like you can literally DM promoters and be like, "Hey, can I play there?" But one thing never changed, which is like the contact, that IRL contact with promoters. Back then, when I was 16, as you said, like I was just hanging out quite a lot. And they got to know me and were like, "Oh, you're also DJing, that's cool, like let's put you on the pedestal, let's see what happens." And it was never me begging to play there. I maybe asked jokingly 1-2 times like, "Oh yeah, it would be so nice to play there, can I play there?" And they were like, yeah, whatever. But the more I got to know them, the more they were like, "Yeah, you know what, we're gonna message you." And they messaged me. And I think this is today still a thing that people should do. IRL, for example, that were, instead of asking on Instagram, be like, "Hey, can I play there?" Just go there, find the venue, support the event, support the promoters, show your face 2-3 times, figure out who the promoter is, and try to get in contact somehow with them, and just be there a couple of times. Don't get pushy. Don't be like, "Oh, hey, here's my USB stick, can I play?" That no one wants that. It's more about getting to know the people, showing that you are actually actively supporting them so they can actively support you in return. And I think it still applies today that I, for example, now that I'm new in the Netherlands, that I just go around to venues and be like, I'm hanging out with the promoter, just checking out stuff, and we exchange Instagrams names, and then the next time I'm also gonna go be there and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna support this, make videos and all that." And then maybe sometimes it's like, "Oh, do you want to play here?" And I think showing up to the venue, getting in contact with the promoters, support them as much as you are capable of, and see, sometimes it just works for you because you can also then play there because they are asking you.
I think this is a very important time too, especially for the fact that much especially in the Western culture, there's a lot of big corporations, for example, like Live Nation and Ticketmaster, really eating up venues, and it's very difficult to even find those small venues to even try to get in to do some sort of a performance or a weekday performance or whatever is available. But also too, like you were saying, social media is such a key integral part of what we do as entertainers nowadays. It's not even a matter of just showing up, and especially at a job. I mean, we all can relate. Y'all can't just go to a company and just lay down your resume and just say, this is why you should be hiring me. They have an entire whole process through HR or even categorizing to make sure that they have all that sort of stuff digitally. And even posting your stuff online, having that virtual presence and that internet presence of the things that you do, super, super, super important nowadays, as opposed to just generating physical media.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing with the whole scene is also that you just need to connect, and obviously nowadays you can easily do your research. You can easily do your research when there's an event, what kind of event they're playing. And for me, for example, my go-to app is Instagram. So I'm checking out all the venues through Instagram, see who's, they can tag people, not just click on the people. And sometimes they have the tag like creator of this and this event. They're like, cool, I'm going to follow this guy. Look how that person looks or her, and just, find them and just have a chat if I feel like it. And if I don't see them, then at least I had a great night out. And it comes a long way to do your research before you also approach people. This also goes for music production. For example, when I started back when I just did self-releases, what I did was basically emailing YouTube channels and be like, hey, can you support this track? It's coming out this and that. I'm writing you because I saw, and then they named like 3 to 4 tracks from the channel from the past that are similar to mine. And you're like, I saw like this artist, and this artist are on your featured on your channel as well. So I think the similar style might be actually something for you. It basically indicates that, hey, this guy is not just literally sending out millions of emails. I mean, I did, but it's you did your research as well. So, and this always comes a long way. I think it's the same in talking to people to get to venues as well, showing them like, you can't, why should I approach a techno event and be like, I'm going to play drum and bass there? Like, at least do your research to see if that fits your style or not.
And obviously talking to promoters too. Like, I think promoters are just as hungry trying to find the people to promote and finding awesome content. I know for me, I ran into this guy who had done promoting for a top-notch record company in the United States a long, long time ago. But he kind of does it as a hobby now. And he's screaming at me, being like, why haven't you sent your stuff over, dude? Like, I know you do stuff, and I know we could promote you, but why haven't you done it? I'm just like, I don't know if you'd be interested or not. I usually would think that if you're interested, you would talk to me, but that's never the case most of the time.
I thought so the longest time too. I always thought like, if you're good enough, people will like notice you. This is not the case. I mean, yes, some people may notice you that way. That's for sure. But most of the time, it's you actively approaching them and asking like, hey, can we do something? And if they know you, like because they heard your track somewhere or your name somewhere, this already breaks the ice even more. And then you can, just do that. Basically, what you should do is actively approaching people instead of waiting something to happen, because then it may never happen.
I'm going to transition into a really very poor subject when it comes to this particular thing, but it's half serious, half not. The fact of we're moving into the stages of VRChat and understanding promotion through VRChat. I find it's funny, it's quirky, because I'm just like, you should be approaching people in VRChat, but the joke of it is like you have a lot of people that have a hard time promoting themselves in VRChat or even trying to get time slots or something. So let's kind of dive into, again, you said that you came in around 2020. Talk to us about the times that you came in here, what you got to experience even before the DJing started in here, all the way up to where we are now.
Well, so again, it started because of Corona. I was just desperate to have any kind of social content. I'm like, I need to do something. And VRChat was fun because I went in there, obviously screaming kids, the usual and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, it is what it is. And then I went to, I really still remember this. Like I went to drinking night. I was like, oh, people are actually drinking there. This is cool. Like I have 2 beers in my fridge. It's Saturday. I want to have a beer. And then I just started to chatting with randoms. And back then, there were 2 people, like there were a group of people, but 2 of them are still part of the community and also good friends of mine, Tsuka and JMJ, who were back there and just, oh yeah, this is how VRChat works, this is what we do, blah, 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 and showed me everything. And in the first 1 or 2 weeks, I just saw in the stream that Suka and Jay is there. Yeah, shout out to you guys. Thank you so much, really. And they basically showed me around and told me like, hey, VRChat is not just drinking. Let me show you more stuff. And yeah, we wandered around, and then I remember Suka posted the flyer of like, I think it was DDVR. And they're like, dude, there's literally a lineup of DJs doing stuff here. And I'm like, what? Really? This is not true, right? Like, no, we have to check it out. And we checked it out. And we went there. And I'm like, how are you even supposed to DJ in here? That doesn't make sense. Because VR in itself was very, very new to me. And like, generally that social game. So we went there and I saw firsthand people were actually DJing in there. And I'm like, okay, I'm mind blown. I want to do the exact same thing. So what I did was basically just what I did IRL. I looked up the DJs, looked up the promoters, found who's running the stuff, and figured out where I can play. And I remember the first time, that was years ago, I played in some club. It was Sunday 9 in the morning. For some reason, I was still in VR. And they were like, oh, yeah, do you have any demos that we can showcase right now? I'm like, yeah, I have one for Vienna. That I used to record for exactly this reason, but not for the internet. And I showed them that. I'm like, cool, can you play next week? I'm like, yeah, how do we set up things here? They're like, yeah, you do it via Twitch. I'm like, damn, I've been to Twitch maybe once or twice. I don't follow anyone there. Like, I don't know how this works. I'm like, yeah, you need OBS. And I was great. I have no clue what you're talking to me. And then they basically just sent me infos, what to do, how to solve the whole things. I think the first 1 or 2 gigs were or like streams were pre-recorded because I still haven't gotten my camera, my DJ equipment, all that. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. And in the beginning, it was very NA heavy. So I woke up like 6, 7 in the morning just to play because I wanted to. I really, really just wanted to DJ again. And that was the perfect outlet. So I just had tons of fun. And I kept doing it. And after a while, like I saw like, oh, there are more and more clubs actually doing this. Let's do the exact same there. Find out who's running it, looking into it. Asking them very nicely if I can also play there, if they have time, like no pressure and nothing. And then suddenly I started to play like, I think once on Friday, once on Saturday. I'm like, hey, this is great. And over the years, it suddenly became like, oh, you playing 3 streams in VRChat on a Saturday and 2 on Friday, and you have 1 on Thursday as well. And I just kept doing it all the time. And it was super fun. But also very demanding. I mean, nowadays, 4 years later, I'm not doing it as much anymore because I just don't have to. It kills the joy a little bit doing it so often, like constantly DJing and all that. And I also wanted to produce music, so I was like, you know what? I think the best solution would be just to not do as much streams and focus on music, so I have more energy for the stream itself than just doing it for the sake of doing it. And yeah, I got to know, thanks to that, a lot of very nice people in VRChat. And I played, I think, in VRChat itself pretty much everywhere. And I mean, there are new clubs obviously that I didn't play nowadays, but yeah, I'm just doing my thing anyway at this point. I'm just doing my hijacking series.
I mean, it's super interesting too, especially like how you were saying how at some point in time it wasn't even just a matter of getting the burnt out, but it's just something that on this program we're trying to kind of get a better idea of, because yeah, the clubs are here, yeah, there's lots of DJs and there's a lot of performers, but you have much stronger aspirations in the future for making producing your own music, making your own music, and then potentially getting some of those festival time slots IRL, which you have been getting, and understanding what people's wants are in VRChat compared to the availability. It kind of begs the question of how far can you actually do exposure until you say, wait a minute, I feel like I am good enough to hit those big stages.
That was never a thought that I had. For me, it was more like I just want to do Twitch and VRChat because I really, really enjoy it. Obviously, there was a point where I got good money out of Twitch, to the point where I was like, hey, could I quit my job with that? That would be crazy. Luckily, I did not. But it was just pure joy. And I just had an outlet to DJ, to play the music I want to play. And just also occasionally having people drinking with me, like for fun, and like, you know, have a beer and all that. It was a very chill environment. But at one point I was like, okay, this is fun and all, but you are literally not producing at all at the moment. That's the reason, for example, why on Spotify you can see that in 2021 I haven't released one single track. One of the reasons. So I'm like, okay, you have to do something. So I started to produce more, doing less streams, because again, still full-time job. I had to try to figure out the puzzle of like, how much can you actually do without killing the joy of it, and also doing music production on top, and having a social life somehow, and you know, trying to fit everything together. And now, 4 years later, what I'm doing, the way I'm doing it right now, is I'm streaming once a week, sometimes only 3 times a month. I'm producing way more, but that also means that I just am not around as much, which I kind of find sad. But you know, you have to figure out what to do in order to get a bit further. And now with the chance that I got this year, IRL, with releasing on Viber and all that kind of stuff, getting the manager, it's you have to make kind of sacrifices a little bit.
You know, we have to continuously think a lot about that too, just because we do talk to a lot of DJs, even when they aren't DJing, and they want to come on and have a social life, and they want to drink with their friends, but because of the obligations of being like, okay, how many events can I do compared to how much exposure can I get? And I know in VRChat it's kind of a tricky scenario too, because I think a lot of people will do different things. It's not everybody wants to be famous, and not everybody wants the limelight, but it's a matter of like, how quickly can I get there to really showcase that I have talent in a specific thing. So I think a lot of people are hungry for that, but you're right. You know, sometimes we do have to take a break and just hang out with the guys and have a couple of drinks and just be there and not have to worry about too much. I know for me, the other day, I just came in just for farts and giggles, and there was a dude that was like forcing me to dance. Like, he was like, here's a glow sticks dance. And I'm just like, dude, I don't dance at these events. He's like, no, you're doing it now. And I'm like, how did I forget to do this? How did I forget to like actually enjoy myself on time off, when the things that I want to do most, and I'm killing myself just doing all those things?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a like balancing act, like Protogenic just said in the chat. It's definitely a balancing act of what to do, when to do. For example, I have now a bit of my ritual, because like after work I just game for 1 and 2 hours. That's it, max. And I mean, okay, sometimes more. Like, who am I lying to? And then afterwards, I'm like, okay, cool. You kind of resetted yourself. Time to make music. And on Thursday or Friday morning, I'm like, okay, time to get ready for the stream. Like, find new music and all that kind of stuff. Then do the streams on Friday. On Saturday, back to making music and doing social life. And on Sunday, I think Sunday is my day where I'm just literally offline, kind of like I'm just, if I want to play games, I'm playing games on my own time. If I want to do stuff social wise, I'm doing that. That's like a day where I have nothing planned whatsoever. And the other days, I'm just, either producing music or doing other stuff. Social media content is a thing now for some reason, so I have to do that as well. Even though I don't like it, but that's the way we have to do it nowadays, I guess. So.
Even this past year, we had so many IRL VR events, and we'll touch a little bit about Unearthed in a little moment, but just understanding how busy VRChat is nowadays. I know at the beginning of the stream, a couple days ago, we were discussing that Woody, who owns the timeline, put out a tweet stating that this year alone, there have been 800 clubs on the timeline, with 500 of those clubs having at least one event in 2025. And just hearing about that makes me just want to like fall to pieces, because I'm just like, that's a lot of clubs, that's a lot of DJs, that's a lot of people that want to come on here and either like even try to DJ or learn to DJ or get their time slots. So I kind of want, I mean, compared to like several years ago, where do you kind of see, are we good? Or do you think that everything here is healthy? Do you think the amount of time slots is enough? Are we going to see more? What is your opinion on all of this?
Okay, first of all, I have to say that this year, 2024, I have not been as present in VRChat itself as much as I used to. Also, like the last kind of quarter of 2023, I was also not that much present anymore. So I know that in the beginning, when I looked to EU clubs, we had two. That was Just Party and DDVR, even though DDVR is not EU focused, but they had like their beginning slots around the EU time. And there was not more. But you still had like quite the amount of DJs, not a lot, obviously not as much as today. But that was easier to get in, I guess, and ask like, hey, do you have a time slot? But I also think that with so many clubs, as you mentioned, like what, 800 at this point?
There's like over 800 clubs, but 500 of them have been really active. So like, yeah. And it's even funnier too, because I know he was explaining how he wanted to incorporate another version of the timeline for RP. And all the RP clubs. I don't know if it's the same timeline. I hope not, because we wouldn't be able to read the damn thing. But yeah, just 500 clubs at least having one event in 2024, with a whole list of DJs.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if you do the 500 clubs, let's just say each one has like 4 DJs in it, okay, 2,000 DJs. Do we have 2,000 DJs? I am not sure. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But I also think that the clubs itself don't want to have the same DJ every weekend. So I think it's still very, very much possible to rotate and be like, oh, I can play there, this and this. I think the whole thing is easier to approach now because you have a bit more choice. But at the same time, you only have so many people that are attending it, right? So I think it would be nice that if we could have like, I don't know, 2,000-3,000 people more. Like that is not even enough. You need way more to just have like a full instance and all that. So yeah, maybe it's a bit oversaturated when it comes to clubs and DJs currently. But I find it also very cool that there's so many people just having the enjoyment of doing this, because it's what you're sacrificing your own time to do something for the community. And I think that's a very cool thing when people doing that, because I tried it. I did like back then the epic DMB DJ battles of VRChat or something, and it just takes time, like picking the people, like talking with them, telling them how to set up stuff. Some people are doing only VRCDN, some people are doing only Twitch, and you have to figure that stuff out. So that's pretty cool from them to do that. I hope there's more growth in VRChat itself, that more people are coming in, so there's more attendees. But I am, maybe it's currently as of now is a bit oversaturated, but I think we're still in a very okay-ish line.
It's always interesting to think about too, and continuously talk about the fact that like at least for you back in the day, it was a matter of kind of going to the clubs IRL, enjoying those experiences, knowing exactly what those experiences are, and being able to talk to those types of promoters. But even in VRChat, you have some people that genuinely want to get into promoting, or they want to get into club owning. And like, I'm not saying that this is like the trade school. VRChat is the trade school for figuring out the trade in entertainment. But honestly, it kind of is. You know, you got some people that genuinely want to start DJing for the first time, and then they get to talk to those types of people and then get to try to do the shows. And I know even last week we were discussing how there was a small calling for people that were genuinely nervous to be in front of a crowd, and then they were kind of showcasing the fact that they were DJing the other way. So they'd be facing away from the crowd to DJ to hopefully help them establish a better kind of a stage presence when in front of a crowd. So even understanding all of that is super interesting. The fact that people can come in and try to make a name for themselves, try it out, and learn from people that actively do it. But moving forward, I know this past year, obviously with Muzz performing at Liquidity, and we're going to kind of get into a little bit more of that because you also got to perform on the same lineup with the guy just recently. But at the same time too, you know, he also has spoken to a lot of the DJs from Liquidity about the fact that Sanctum exists, and the people genuinely will come in. Some of these popular artists and producers will be coming in to produce and perform in VRChat. And even talking to those people in Liquidity, they were just like, yeah, we keep hearing about it, but you know, we haven't gotten there yet. However, it still exists. So kind of moving forward, and getting a better understanding, because again, as you may have seen it too, we've had some producers come in here and perform. Muzz came in, performed, obviously Proto too, you, and a couple of other people too, like Slushy was in. Yeah, Slushy came in, and I think Porter came in after a little bit of time too, just to kind of see what was going on. Do you honestly believe that might actually happen more in the future?
So before answering that question, I'm going to real quick go back to something you just said, because I also saw that in the chat, that you could learn a lot from VRChat in terms of, like, you know, getting the pressure off yourself as a DJ and all that. I think VRChat is a very unique playground to face exactly those fears. Like, because if you want to learn, VRChat is perfect if you want to start as a DJ, for example, because when back then in my days, you literally just had your living room and you did the transitions and you think it's right, but maybe it's wrong. There's no one giving you feedback. It's literally when you are at a bar or in a club and getting the things, and then you do the transition, that's where people are noticing it's either bad or not well, or good. In VRChat as a DJ, especially when you start, you can experience so much. You can experience the crowd reaction. You can experience if the transition was good or not. You can practice not being anxious, seeing people, like seeing the crowd, like looking up to you. And I think it's a very, very nice thing, because in the end, if you fuck up, then so be it. Nobody cares, really. They're just here to enjoy it. And if you do something great, they will notice. So I think in terms of that, as a DJ, VRChat is the perfect, unique playground to do that, because people that don't know about VRChat, they just can't experience it in front of a virtual live crowd. And therefore, it's a bit harder to read the crowd also a bit, even though that's a bit of a thing. Like, can you read a crowd in VRChat? Yes and no. But yeah, in the end, I think even for promoters, obviously there's no money involvement currently, but it's still like just how to talk with DJs, how to ask certain people about certain stuff. I think it's a very nice playground to learn stuff. So yeah, there's that. And now back to the other question. If we will see Protostar and Muzz and Slushy, all those people in VRChat. I mean, the good thing is, as you said, Muzz is running Sanctum. He always brings in very big guns, which is always cool. I should go more to Sanctum, actually, because they had recently Sardonic and I wanted to see Sardonic. But yeah. But the problem is, I think VRChat has a great entry barrier, or like a big entry barrier, let's say it that way, because in order for hypothetically, let's say Subfocus to come in here, he would need to have OBS. He would need what Twitches or VRCDN. He has to navigate the whole routing and in his DJ equipment. Maybe not even having a DJ equipment at home. Who knows? And so I think it's kind of hard to get those people in, especially for free. So I don't see anytime soon that we will see a greater amount of bigger artists coming in here. But I think Muzz is doing a very, very good job at it by just getting them invited, which makes Sanctum so special. I tried to get in like Casca Miller and Buster, who is like also like a Monster Cat and now on the other label, Pilot Records and all that. So that was pretty cool to get them in. But it's kind of hard to convince them to do something in VR in a program that nobody knows of, or like they don't know of, and do all the settings on their laptop or computer. So I don't know. I literally wish that there were way more bigger event, like with bigger names in here. But at the same time, it's cool as it is now because you can find so many underground. You can find so many new DJs in here that just blow your mind. Because I think in VRChat, the majority of DJs, at least the ones that from 2020 to 2022, I'm not sure about the new ones currently, but I still think this applies to them as well, are better, way better than anyone playing in a regular club on a Wednesday night. So I think that we have it pretty good already with the DJs here.
I was gonna say, did you ever hear any feedback from some of those larger artists that you said that have come in here? Have you heard like how they enjoyed it, or do they kind of say that this could potentially be the future of DJing, or what kind of feedback did you get from them?
Well, obviously, when I talk to people that don't know about it, they were like, okay, what is this? And then I show them a stream and they're like, oh, are this real people? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, that's crazy. How does this work? But they don't really show that much interest. They're like, oh, that's cool that you do that. But yeah, again, not that much of interest. The people that played here and the ones I'm in contact with, they enjoyed it 100%. But it's also like with their schedule that they can't fit it in. Sometimes, like most of the times, because they are also very, very busy. So it's probably also not such a big priority to do that. So I understand that, they're like, yeah, it's pretty cool, but I'm not sure if I can do that because I have this and this and this to do. So they receive it positive, but they don't go any further into that.
Yeah, I'm always so interested to see where the fine line would be from, again, going from hobbyist to professional when it comes to DJing in here, and especially when it comes to like showcasing the fact that you're a VR DJ. I know for myself, and I have to apologize from some of the examples that I use, but it's something that I have to deal with recently, and while I have interest in it, I think a lot of people will start to have more interest in it when they start to see more success stories and more people that they've looked up to that DJ in VR compared to where they're headed to professionally and the awesome things that they do online. I know for me, to continue to promote myself through the idea of a VRChat DJ, it doesn't have as much weight as just saying professional DJ with VR applications, just because of all the stigma of like, or not the stigma, but like the some of the videos that have been posted about VRChat online on YouTube, kind of showcasing negative things that happen in this platform as opposed to the really awesome things that happen in this platform. And one of the things to try to get a better understanding of is how can you continue to promote yourself professionally? Like, you can perform in here and that's cool, but how can you continue on with your professional resume, if you will, in this type of career by showcasing? We're looking I'm trying to find the actual question for it, but it's basically kind of like if you want to continue doing successful things with all the DJ experience that you've had in VRChat, without all of the negative connotations that people think that VRChat may have, what do you think that we need to do in the future to be able to showcase that as part of our resume without just being like, oh, I'm a VRChat DJ, and people are like, I don't understand what VRChat is?
Just don't say it. No.
It's simple enough. No. Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah.
No. I think, first of all, like if you're a DJ, you're not a VRChat DJ, you're a DJ. Yes, you only performed maybe for virtual crowd, but it doesn't undermine your skills. If you're good, you're good. Doesn't matter where. Obviously equipment is different everywhere. You go from your own little home controller to CDJs 3000s, 4 of them, and an A9 mixer in front of you. Yes, this is a very big different step, but in the end you still have your skills that you learned and acquired through doing virtual performances. So I do think that you just have to have the courage of saying like, no, I'm a DJ, I can actually rock this because I did that virtual multiple times. It's not that different. And it is not that different because in the end, you're the one that selects the track selection. You're the one that's mixing it. You're the one that knows which double drops work, which don't. And it's not because of VRChat, it's because you practice with VRChat to become that. So when it comes to negativity in VRChat, I have to honestly say I don't watch any of those YouTube videos. I can't be bothered.
Dude, good for you, man. Good for you.
I don't. I'm also way too old for this at this point to get bothered with like internet drama. To be fair, so it's just like, and everyone that I talk to and I show VRChat, even though they're not interested or like don't know what it is. I only show the cool stuff. I'm like, yeah, this is my friend, which I'm drinking occasionally in VRChat, and I'm also DJing there. And they're like, okay, my mind can't comprehend that, but that's cool. and some people even check them out, and I'm like, hey, if Twitch, for example, that's something you can look at where how the DJs are playing. And they're like, oh, cool, thanks. And then they're gonna check out the DJ, for example. So it's I think that people should just ignore the whole negativity that's in VRChat, like in terms of like, they just should provide the positivity they want to see. And with that mindset, I think it's easier to connect, because for me, VRChat in the 4 years, it was a hell of a time. Like I always had full enjoyment to meet with people, to DJ here and all that. I only have like almost only good experiences about that. So, and I definitely one-upped my skills in DJing because I performed so much in VRChat. So this helps. And that's why I also keep continuing it, to practice and to have fun with those people.
That's some super sound advice, especially because, again, when you first get in here and you get the taste of the limelight, and you're fighting up. I don't know. It always kind of, in any career, the older you get, the younger kids come in and see if they can't like do better than you, or they'll outplay you, and then no one wants you anymore. But that's with every type of career. But I feel like even in here too, it's not even a matter of gatekeeping, but it's a matter of like coming in and having those good examples and having those good environment. I mean, if you're gonna come in here and troll and be a troll, I mean, you're gonna get what you get. But there's a lot of people in here that have a lot of skill, like you said, and being able to showcase all of that. I think a lot of people are kind of missing the boat when they're, not downloading the posters from those DJ nights, or even asking for someone to come in to record you, or the crowd that you're in front of, or because all of that could be good promotional material for you in the future, especially when you do want to kind of look at it more professional.
Exactly. For example, if for whatever reason VRChat, for example, someone records your performance in VRChat, and you are not sure if you are like professional by uploading the whole video with you playing VRChat like in the background, then just upload the audio. Put a nice background in there that loops, because most of the time people are doing something else when they're really listening to something. So just put a background in it, and there you go. Like if that bothers you, go for it. I personally don't mind, because I literally do not care what the other people say. Like if they say, oh, is this VRChat? That's kind of cringe. I'm like, yeah, it's but do you enjoy the music though? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, cool, there you go. So it's, I don't think it also has anything to do with being professional, not professional. I think it's literally just your mindset. It's in your mind if you think you're professional. And if you think that's a hurdle for you, then just upload the audio. You're also good with that. And if you don't bother at all, then just upload it you being in VRChat. I think in the end, it's even like more fascinating to see that people are having full-on headsets while DJing, because I can't do that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if in the future you're gonna get yourself one of those quests and attempt it.
Yeah, it's no. I tried it once. Not my thing. I just can't do that. So it's very fascinating seeing people like with a whole headset and all that. Obviously, many people don't know what's going on. That's okay, but yeah, no. In the end, like, do what you think takes you further, or do what makes you more comfortable. And again, if the VRChat background is bothering you, just upload the audio. If it doesn't bother you, go for it. Just don't overthink it too much, because in the end, VRChat is pretty fun, and they're just people that don't know about it. And if they would know about it and see all the performances and all that, I think they also would be mind blown by it.
We're in studio live with 10XX here for VRCDJLIVE, and of course, everyone in chat hanging out. Have a couple of really good questions coming down the line as well. And if you're in the chat right now and you want to ask some questions about how you can get into DJing into VR, you totally can. This is a live show after all. We're here to answer the questions. And you know, again, sometimes whenever us DJs, especially, I would assume at 10XX after he's jumping around, after he's done jumping around IRL with his cat space sweater that you occasionally see when he's teaching, you know, he has to go take a break or go to the bathroom or get some water or something. But even after that, you're just like, oh, I forgot to ask him that question. So this is definitely the time to do that. I want to ask you a lot about your community, because I think you have one of the most engaging communities by far, but based on how many people not only are in your Discord, but help you with certain events and help you with certain projects. And even, I would assume a good portion of your community on Discord even came out to Liquidity this past year. So tell us a little bit about the people that are in your Discord and your immediate community, and what's it like to have a full ship of support.
Man, I love my community so much. Honestly, it's crazy how much support they give, like in a way or another. It's just beautiful to see. It's, yeah, I went back then when I started. I remember I asked JMJ. It was like, hey, how do you set up a Discord, or should we even set up a Discord? How does this work? How does Discord work? I am not here at all. Like, I don't know how this works. And then he helped me like a little bit, like, you know, this and that, we can do this and that with that channels and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, cool. So for the 40 people that we may get in, would be a nice thing, right? And yeah, couple years later, we like at what, 1,400. And it's crazy. Like, the people in there are super nice. Everyone is supportive. Everyone shares the passion for music by just, you know, attending raves, listening to it, and also VRChat quite a lot. And yeah, sadly, I am not as active anymore with the people as I want to be. And I'm very, very sorry about that. Like, it's not intentional whatsoever. It's just, you know, time. But the fact that they're still doing stuff on their own, it's just nice to see. I think like recently they went to London to see a Pendulum show, the UK 15th thing. They're also like in voice chat, like JMJ said, like playing RuneScape all day, and I love to see that. And you know, they're just awesome, and I like that they do their own thing, and also supporting me in every way, because in the end, I don't take anything for granted. So having those people just is amazing. So it's great. I did not think that we will get that many people in one server, to be fair. I thought like 50 people is gonna be max. And yeah, no, and also at Liquidity, like we started in 2022, be like, oh, we want to go to a festival. And it started with 5 people, and then we were like 20, 22 people, something like that. And I'm like, cool, we're gonna do this next year again as well. and suddenly we were like 45 people. And this year we did it again, and we were like 52 people. I'm like, where does this end? And it's nice because I still prefer IRL over internet by a mile. So for me, like seeing people's faces and just chilling with them, having a beer, raving to music, and just just hang in the chair that is slightly damaged because someone fell over it the day before. It's just nice. And you hang out 3 days, 4 days at a festival, no rules, no social rules apply. If you want to drink a beer at 7 a.m., you can absolutely do that. And just chill and get to know people better. And I like to do this, really. That's my thing that I really, really, really enjoy with the community. And I really can't wait to do this again next year. So yeah, it's gonna be great. I can't wait to see all the people again.
So how many people are we expecting for Liquidity next year? Are we going to hit 70? Are we going to take over 4 camps this time?
I don't know.
Going to take up an entire row.
Listen, we actually at this point, like for Liquidity, where we have multiple people, like I'm just literally a little bit just the coordinator, but we have another guy like Jan who's doing the transportation for all the drinks and all that he imports from Germany to the Netherlands. Then we have Ollie, who's like giving everyone, like doing a nice spreadsheet, like who's coming and also answering people's question. We have Aqua doing the same thing, answering people's question and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like coordinating in the background a little bit, saying like, hey, we should do this, or maybe that, blah, blah, blah. But in the end, it's not me just doing all the things. It's like 4 or 5 people doing this at this point. And even like .local helped in the previous years. So we are a group doing that. It's not just me doing it. And I'm super happy about that. If we hit 70, I do not know. Would be fun to see. But honestly, even if it's just 20, I don't mind. It's just nice to hang out with people.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I was blessed to kind of come on last minute. I know Captain Duck was kind of forcing me, and then as soon as you learned about it, you were forcing me, and Aqua was forcing me, and all these people. And I mean, at the time, I was broke. I still have to pay my mother off because she's the one that gave me all that money. But like at the same time, I will say that yes, if you have some opportunity and you're in the Netherlands and in Amsterdam and stuff, please go check it out, because that whole couple of days was just music. And for people in the States, all we ever get is usually just like a day. We get a festival in a day, or if you do have EDC, you genuinely don't have too many people that tent out, that camp out, because they'll just go get a hotel and just be like, that's lame.
I think that's a thing in the US, right? The same with like Miami, not just Miami Music Week, but also Miami and all that kind of stuff. You rather tend to get a hotel. And I think hotel is fine, and maybe like I'm also now in the age where I should get a hotel instead of camping. But no, I think 60% to 70% of the festival is made at the camping site, because so much happens and it's just pure fun. There's definitely a difference between US and Europe, how we party. But Rob, you're very much invited to come next year again. As Chase said just in the chat, like, come over. Let's do this again.
I don't know, one of these days I'm going to have to set up some sort of like a GoFundMe or something. Because again, like this whole year for me has just been content creation, and trying to work full-time content creation is just driving me nuts. But still, all in all, it's not about me. It's about 10XX. We're about the 10XX show. Speaking of which, even before Liquidity, we got to explore Unearthed. And that show has been rocking so hard. Even this past year, sold a lot of tickets, got a lot of attention. And I know a good chunk of the people that are in your Discord help out with that process. Take us behind the curtain a little bit about how that show got started, where you kind of want to see it headed, what it's been like for the past couple of years.
Well, we started, me and .local started the Unearthed thing in 2023, last year. And he just messaged me, hey, wouldn't it be fun to have, like, for all the people that flying over, to have a pre-party? I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do this. And then we got into that, like, okay, how much is a venue? How much is a DJ equipment? How much are the DJs? Which DJs do we want? How can we like make a big impact in like selling that show and all that kind of stuff? And in the first year, it was free. So basically, we just did it for free, and there was a bar guarantee that we hit, and we hit that by miles. It was pretty fun. I think the bar guarantee was like, oh, you need to have at least 900 euros in consumption. In the end, like people drink 3,000 euros, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we're good.
Perfect.
So yeah, we got this. And in this year, we wanted to kind of do it a little bit more professionally, getting like bigger artists in there, but also like still having people from Twitch or VRChat also doing that, and coming here and play there. And there was a lot of planning, because it was me, that local Ollie. Ollie did the social media post. Ollie had multiple ideas for the stuff, did like quite a lot, the announcements in Discord. Dot was checking the venue, talking with me about certain stuff, logistics and all that kind of stuff. I was coordinating, like also asking DJs, see how it goes and all that kind of stuff. And it was a lot of planning, and we learned a lot from our mistakes as well. So it was very, very intense for us the first year, because we just didn't know really what we did. I thought I know what we did, but there were like so many missing places. For example, like at the venue itself, suddenly we figured out last minute that the subwoofer is not working, and we couldn't do anything about that. And I'm like, great, this is already like a lost case. But what we kind of end up with was like everyone cranking the lows on the mixer to the edge, so we can have somewhat of bass, right? And you learn with that kind of stuff. And we did ticket sales. We wanted to bring like also just not just people from VRChat, but also like random people partying in Netherlands, trying to convince them to come to the show. We got artists from Netherlands, and also Protostar was our headliner, and that was pretty cool. Like I had a lot of fun. For next year, currently no plans. Maybe we do it, maybe we don't. I still have to talk about that. But yeah, it was a fun experience to see like the promoter side of it, IRL, and also like how much money it involves, because it's not cheap, especially in Amsterdam. It's not cheap. But it was fun. It was fun, and I think we everyone had a great night. So that was pretty nice to hear. Obviously, I was dead the day after, and that was when Liquidity began. And I was just sitting on my chair, be like, "Oh fuck, I'm done."
Damn, we got a party for 5 days or something. Oh man.
I think I slept for like 3 hours, and yeah, no. But currently, no plans for next year. But if we do, we will 100% announce it on Discord.
So working with Captain Duck recently this past year, we have been kind of talking a little bit. It was really nice to have the Party Hub a part of Deadman's Party this year for San Diego TwitchCon, and even talking with the DJs that usually go to TwitchCon Rotterdam. There really hasn't been anything kind of set up between that, and especially with the time frames. Talking with Duck, and he had to create a whole new forum feed based off of all of the IRL VRChat events throughout the year. And he came up with a list of like 12 to 13 IRL VRChat events just happening this past year alone. So I kind of wanted to see what your opinion is on that, especially when people do see groups like Shelter doing ShelterCon. Obviously, Costa del Fishbowl happens every so often. Four Seasons was kind of a force to be reckoned with this year. And obviously with Dead Man's Party, people have been asking for Dead Man's Party 4, and I'm sitting there like, it's not time yet. Let me get through the holidays first. But where do you see, are we seeing double next year? Or do you think we're going to be seeing more like groups in VR trying to attempt this sort of stuff?
From someone coming from IRL, like partying IRL quite a lot, I definitely hope so. I 100% hope so that there are more IRL VRChat parties, because it benefits in multiple ways. First of all, the people that are normally not going out, they will experience, and like they will see a party from VRChat and having one big things that they share, which is VRChat. So there's always a topic to talk about, which is already great. The people that maybe don't want to go out that often, or like just don't do that, and then go to a party where you can where you kind of know everyone but kind of don't, it's great because you don't feel super lost, if you know what I mean. You don't feel super lonely. I've been to parties where I was alone. I'm like, why am I here? Like, this is not fun. And there, at least, you can have like still be like, oh, VRChat, yes, something VRChat, and you have a topic, and that's great. So I do think we have more of that. I do think that yeah, there's just more promoters willing to take the leap, but at the same time, I know it is not free like in VRChat. In VRChat, if you want to make an event, you set up an event, post it somewhere, and there you go. No money involved. If you have like Four Seasons, they had like a very solid production. They had to rent a room, they had to ask the people, they had to bring equipment over, they had to do so much stuff. And I don't know if people are even like coming out with a profit at this point, but they just love to do that. And I love to see that. So yes, I do think we should have more IRL VRChat parties or meetups. And if it doubles or triples, I would be more than happy to attend them as well.
Especially even going into 2024, at least on the America side, it just seemed like a lot of Europeans had kind of come in and been like, hey, we're going to go party with the Americans, especially in VRChat. And so they'll come in and they'll tell the Americans in VRChat, being like, well, if we could stay up till 4 a.m., you could do the same thing, or you could come on a little bit earlier and party with us. So even just this year alone of having a lot of Americans kind of come on over to Europe and hang out with you guys has just been eye-opening because of just how you guys party, how you party, and your team and the people in your Discord party is completely different than how it used to be. But you're absolutely right. You know, sometimes we have to find ways to kind of come on over and experience everything that's kind of been going on. This is our time to kind of do that.
Yeah, I think like if, for example, for me, I love to see Americans coming over, like you, like Bob VR, for example, like multiple Americans just sitting at the Liquidity thing and just talking about cultural differences, because I love to just go into the topic, mostly because I want to see like, okay, what's different, because not every country is the same, right? So I just like getting knowledge about that for me personally is a highlight, because I want to learn more about, you know, every country ever. So the more I get, the more you guys are coming over, the more I learn, the funnier it gets for me, for myself, or the more knowledge I build. Even if it's just something stupid as like, oh, how much beer do you get if someone orders one beer? Is the small one, is a large one? Stuff like that. And I'm super happy that because of VRChat that people are literally considering flying over the pond and be like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and taking holidays here and all that. I'm super I find it super cool to see that, and especially you as well, like coming over from the East Coast to Amsterdam to Liquidity and just, you know, raving with us. It's a great experience.
I will say
100%.
I was not ready for how much cider and wine consumption there is in Europe compared to, because I think throughout that entire weekend I was like, where are the lagers at? Where's the beer? Where's the I had some, but it was like I was like, I would be like 6 o'clock in the morning and everyone's like, you want a cider? And I'm like, it's not even cold. How are you doing this?
I don't even know. Like, I know that in my community, a lot of people drink cider. I don't know if this is the standard, because like normally I also prefer beer over cider, but sometimes it's very refreshing and very nice. And as I said earlier, like waking up at 7 in the morning and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go to gonna brush my teeth, but first, like, I'm downing a cider. It's just fun. It's just festival.
That seems like such a festival thing to do. Now, speaking of much larger events too, I know this past couple of years have been quite a fantastic time for your career. I know on social media, on Twitter, you still have posts of when you performed at Liquidity 2022. You got a hold of Liquidity Spring Festival this year, and I don't know if anybody has actually been to your Instagram as of recently to take a look at that freaking drum and bass gig with Muzz a month ago, but oh my gosh, it was cool, and I'm super jealous. Kind of talk to us about some of these events and what they kind of mean for you in your career.
That was great. So I played 2 shows like in the past 2 months. One was in Denmark and the other one was in Spain. In Denmark, I got invited by Subhive, which I released music on their label, and also they played at Unearthed this year, like going as Hive Minds. I was Kask and Maluren. They also experienced VRChat the years before, like once or twice. And they were like, you know what? Yeah, we can. You can come over. We're gonna pay for that stuff, and yeah, we, wanna do that. And I'm like, 100%. Let's fucking do this. And also took my girlfriend with me. I'm like, let's make a nice little vacation with out of it. And we had a great night. It was the show was amazing. I even I even remember I did like 2 little mistakes when DJing, and I just literally grabbed the mic. I'm like, whoops, happens, and just for like penalty cheers, stuff like that. Just own it, and it was super fun. People are super fun, and I was never in Aalborg. That's where it happened in Denmark, so it was pretty cool to see that 4-day. And then the recent one in Barcelona with Muzz, that was great because I met the guy and the promoter at Liquidity itself when we were like just chilling, and he was like mentioning, oh yeah, I'm this guy and I also do things in Barcelona. I'm like, hey, would you like, is there any chance that we can do something? Because he also wrote me on SoundCloud months prior to that saying like, hey, I love your stuff so much, it's pretty cool. I'm like, thank you, appreciate it. And then he was like, yeah, cool. And I just jokingly said like, you know what, just invite me when you're doing it. Like, you know what, let's exchange numbers, let's talk about that. Coming back to the stuff what I said in the beginning, contacts, like, just back and forth, looking who's running things. But this one was pretty blind because I had no clue that he's running events. I just wanted to have a good time, that was it. Afterwards, after Liquidity, we had a short call, and he was like, yeah, listen, Muzz is gonna play, and we have a couple other like vibes. Lex is a guy that released on the same label as I did. Vibes is a guy that lives close to me, actually, in the Netherlands, that I didn't know. And yeah, want to come over? I'm like, absolutely, I was never in Barcelona, let's do this. So we went to Barcelona, played the gig, had so much fun backstage with the people, got to know the people. And funnily enough, Muzz told me the next day after the event that, hey, you should have we met at the airport, and he was like, you should have just messaged me that you're in Barcelona because we were there for 2 days as well.
Way.
Like,
that's fun.
Like, you just had said something and we would like go for a drink. Like, oops, yeah, well. But no, I was backstage, got to know a lot of people. It was super fun, and the guy from the Netherlands also invited me to his event 2 weeks ago. So that was pretty cool. And, connections over connections, it was pretty fun. And I had a great time because the crowd was amazing. And I even remember people coming over and be like, I expected everything, but I did not expect you playing hardstyle. Because it was not hardstyle, it was a drum and bass remix that I did for the hardstyle thing. But yeah, it was super cool, and gained a couple of new people that like my stuff, and it was super nice to see Muzzy again, and also meet the Lex who, like I said, is also my on the same label. It was nice to have a talk with all of them, and yeah, was really cool. Definitely want to do this again, 100%. But yeah, it was also t-shirt weather, which is cool because I was running around with a jacket with a code in the Netherlands, and over there I was just running around with a t-shirt. That was great. So, I'm super down to do this again.
All of this is super interesting to find out too, especially because there are a lot of people in VRChat that just know about Muzz through Sanctum. And even like, oh gosh, I don't want to even say it the way I'm going to say it, which is like, let's just say we have some new DJs come in 2024 and they're learning about it. And then like they have to pull out the ancient text scrolls of like, back in the day when Muzz was here and he was running this program. I don't want to kind of go down that, but at the same time, like, this is really interesting for the people that have been in here for this entire time, especially kind of going through the journey and stuff like that. And these are some of the stories that we never really get to kind of feed more into because of the fact that, there are some really big people, and I'll go ahead and say too that you're really making a name for yourself, especially when you're getting these networks and you're kind of getting in and kind of talking with that, and just hearing the fact that you guys were just chilling out, having a beer, just hobnobbing, like it was kind of meant to be, like I feel like at this point in time, like not only, again, you're so confident in your connections and wanting to be like, let's exchange numbers, let's talk business some more. still a lot of people that can't do. They'll leave and be like, oh shoot, I should have done that. It's like I should have talked, I should have asked, I should have done whatever. But these stories are so fantastic to hear for our community because of the fact that like it could be just as simple as how you're saying it. And honestly too, like especially with the name of Muzz and how Muzz keeps growing too, being able to do that and have those types of further future connections really seem that it can be possible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like the thing is, like, for example, I'm saying it the way it is. Like, if I can do it, everyone else can, because I'm super lazy. I'm a procrastinator. I was also I am so shy when asking for to ask if I can play or if we can exchange stuff and all that. I used to be like that, like for years and years and years, and I'm a slow learner. Like it took me literally a decade to come to the conclusion to just do that. So it didn't just came out of nowhere. It also took me years and years and years to build that up. And when it comes to Muzzy, I knew about him before VRChat. Like, I know that he released a Monster Cat. I was like, I love this guy. Like, I love his music. It's amazing. I never ever thought that I would see him in VRChat at all. And I remember it was like the first 1 or 2 gigs when I played drum and bass, and it was in front of me. And because it was pre-recorded, I was just sitting on my desk, and I'm like, I'm just gonna message this guy on Instagram saying just, hey, thank you. I see you right now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. And then he was like, yeah, well, you're doing drum and bass. Not because back then not a lot of people did drum and bass. There was only a handful. And he was like, yeah, I want to do this on other shows as well. I'm going to try to do this and that. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And it became just a friendship over time. And I soaked up all his knowledge like a sponge. Like, even if he just said something about the business, I was already like with my notepad here. I'm like, I see. Mm-hmm. That's how it goes. I never asked him for, to do that, but he just did it. And I'm like, dude, I'm forever grateful for all the knowledge you taught me. I'm grateful that we come along together pretty nicely. And I never thought that, I need to meet this person in order to elevate. That was never a thing. For me, it was always like, I'm just happy that this guy's around and plays sick ass music, and that's it. That was my only thing. Like back then when he did the Muzz tour, the Muzz Fest, and he did the tours, not once did I think of like, oh yeah, I need to talk about him and give feedback on my music. It was just, no, I just want to listen to this guy and how he performs. That's it. That's my only intention here, to just enjoy music. And because I was a fan of him before that, it was, it's like, I don't know, when metrics suddenly comes in here as a focus and be like, I'm just there to just enjoy it. And that's it. And I did not think that 3 years later we're gonna be in the same lineup, but just IRL. Or like 3 weeks ago, he was playing also in the Netherlands, and we also met up, and it was just nice to talk with him. And he's doing his stuff. I think he is like having a North American tour coming up now in January, and it's just cool to see his progression. And meanwhile, I'm just focusing on my stuff. Like I'm just doing my thing, and I have like a couple of ideas what I want to do next year. And yeah, that's just a nice friend.
It's nice that you're even bringing it up too, because like it could be just as simple as that. And while everybody kind of handles popularity and celebrity status differently, I think it's really nice as of recently that a lot of either producers or DJs or editors or any of that sort of stuff, that we can talk about this and we don't have to feel either weirded out that somebody wants to collaborate or wants something from something, you know what I mean? And just even at Liquidity too, like getting that opportunity to, like, I did not believe, like, I knew we were going to go say hi to Muzz, but I had no idea that the rest of the DJs were kind of just walking around with like some weird, like masking, like some sort of a duct tape name tag or something. And I'm just like, I just saw you on the stage like this weekend and you're here. Like, what are you doing here? So it was cool that they got to stop by, and I got to at least express how grateful we all are for them to come on and perform, or even come and hang out and just kind of chit chat. But even with Metrics too, funny enough that I asked my roommate to give me some samples of drum and bass before I even went to Liquidity to learn about it, and there was a ton of Metric stuff. And here you got a guy that, like, I joined Protostar's Discord, and then he joins the Discord and talks to him, and they play Fortnite together or something. Like, I'm just sitting there like, what? Like, just like, I saw you on stage, you guys were performing. Like, what happened? Like, you guys hang out all the time? That's so cool.
Yeah, it's just a nice thing. Like, obviously everyone is human, so it's just it's very cool. And it's also like with those things, I never go there and be like, hey, please listen to my music, please give me feedback on this, please do this and that. No, it's just like, hey, wanna have a drink? Like, wanna talk about life? I don't know. Like,
right.
In the end, that's how I also make kind of connections. Like, it's just, I'm just having a good time with the people, with other artists, and there's no need to, just because they are artists, that you go there and push them like, hey, do this and that, and like, can you give me feedback on this and that? Just chill, just have a good time, just enjoy the vibes, and everything. If there's something serious, like if there's feedback and all that, it comes with time. But just don't force it, I guess. Just be chill. And as I said, like, I'm just gaming finals at the moment, and I'm just doing my stuff.
Yeah,
it's you have to have some outlet, I guess.
Now, before we get into all about New Horizons, this new EP that you just got to launch not more than a month ago, I know you were just talking about how you, again, in this particular field, and kind of furthering your career, this year's kind of a really big time for you, not only having a label but a manager as well. So kind of give us a little bit about what it was like to try to find a manager and how that's kind of going for you right now.
Well, yes. So, I got a manager quite recently. It was during ADE, which is like the Amsterdam Dance event. It's like one of the biggest music conference in Amsterdam. Like, literally everyone is coming down from everywhere. And they had this one night or afternoon in a cafe where they were like, okay, this is mostly for promoters and labels and not so much for artists. But I got invited, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna be there. And it was really awkward in the beginning because people literally just talked about label and more events, and I was like, yeah, I can't contribute anything to that. So I just sat at the bar, drank coffee, and be like, well, let's see what happens, I guess. And then after 2 or 3 hours, someone said like, oh, hey Renee, how you doing? Like, hey, this is Felipe, and he is like an artist manager at Voltage Artist. And yeah, 10XX just released on Viber, and then he was like, oh, cool, like how you do stuff and all that. And we got to know each other and exchanged numbers once again. And a couple of weeks later, we had a couple of calls, and I was like, you know what, let's try it. Let's see what happens. And he was like, yeah, my biggest priority is that you are making music and I do all the rest, like literally everything else. But he's an artist manager. He's not a booking agency, right? That's two different types of things. But as long as I don't have a booking agency, he's taking over that thing as well. And he helps me with content ideas because, like I said, I hate social media. That's how it is. I did not expect to do so much social content back in the days, but that's just part of it, and I'm just rolling with it. And he literally just sent me an entire plan for my upcoming single, also dropping tomorrow. It's a remix of Dangerous by Futurebound. And he literally sent me a notion of like, hey, okay, so this is the entire release planning thing. That's what you're gonna do. Are you okay with that? I'm like, yeah, cool. And then he said, and this is all the contents you have to do after it got released. Are you cool with that? I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, let's do this. And he also sends me new ideas, new stuff. I sent him tracks for feedback, and it's very cool because I feel like I can now start, diving more into music, and he does all the boring stuff, which is doing all the bookings and like the figuring out what social media content works, and that's how we roll, and that's pretty cool. So he helps me a lot. It helps me a lot in case of like just do my thing and have a little bit more air or like free time. But at the same time, he is kicking my ass, which is good because I need that. Because I said I'm a procrastinator. I'm lazy. Like I'm literally just I'm lazy. And that guy's like, okay, I want. You said like new music, right? Can you send it by the end of the week? I'm like, oh, damn, okay. So I'm sent him like that's why, for example, the newest a new track that I finished on Tuesday at 5 a.m. I sent him straight to him. I'm like, there you go, there's a track, and it worked out fine because finally I have someone that actually pushes me to do stuff instead of just me being like, I could also just game for 8 hours.
Plus, he's got the
So,
connections too, right? I mean, he's got people in the business side that he can talk to keep promoting you even more.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That as well. Like that's all the things that he can do, can manage. And I'm literally just happy that he gives me a schedule or like a list of social media content that I need to do, and is also looking over contracts and all that stuff. And I'm super happy that he's doing that because I really can't be bothered with it. I did it for the most of the time, but now that I have someone that can take over that, I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, I can imagine. I know a lot of people when they start, it's like they get bombarded with emails or DMs and stuff, and you're just like, sure, but then I have to kind of keep track of it, my own schedule, and it's not having a nice little like secretary to kind of handle all of your all the stuff that you got kind of going on.
Pretty much. And he has like also knowledge that I did not know about. And it's also like me exchanging other type of knowledge that I push to him. And it's a very good working together kind of atmosphere here. So and that's why also like I get now forced to do more music because he literally said we need to have for 2025 we need to have way more releases than this year. I'm like, yep, I'm ready for that. Let's do this.
Speaking about releases again, New Horizons available everywhere and on Spotify for you to listen to streaming now. I gotta say, dude, I know I'm gonna keep telling you because I was listening to the entire EP yesterday, and Keep Dropping It has got to be my favorite tune off that album, and it rocks. Every part of it makes me want to get out and dance and kind of get in the groove of things. But take us, we are running a little bit behind on time, but kind of take us a little bit about how you even started thinking about putting this together and your whole writing process.
So the EP was never a goal, not at all. So it's more about it started with like 2022 where I started releasing on Manifest, and I released 1 or 2 tracks there, and then I was a third, then I was a fourth, and then I was like, okay, I'm done with Manifest. Like not done, but I released quite a lot there. I should slowly try to seek out somewhere else. And then Manifest came back to me and I was like, you know what, we can actually turn this into an EP. I'm like, wow, I never ever had an EP. We should do that. And he was like, yeah, do you have more tracks for me to put in the EP? I'm like, yeah, here are 2 more. And I think in the end I had 3 more or something like that. And we planned out that monthly release until to the EP that came out. And I'm super happy about it, that New Horizon came out because it's my first EP ever since I started making music. Even though it's already like releases that you heard in the past, but that's how it is nowadays. And yeah, I'm super happy that I finally can say I have released an EP. And I would lie if I say it took 2 years to finish, because it didn't. It just it was just multiple tracks over the years that came together in the end. And then I did like 2 more this year in order to finalize the EP. And yeah, no, super happy about it. Super happy that people like it. And there is more coming.
Woo!
So yeah, tomorrow I'm also releasing a new track, the remix from Future Bond. It's going to be an official remix. It's going to be also on Spotify. And it's literally dropping in 2.5 hours.
Oh,
no,
dang.
2 hours. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you want to pay attention to that. I mean, obviously, if you're going to do anything today, you're going to listen to the new EP as well, the new release coming up very soon. Do you I know it's kind of quirky to say because occasionally when you make a thing, do you tend to listen to one particular song that you made? What's your favorite so far on that EP?
I don't listen to my own tracks. No, it's when you produce music, you hear the same thing over and over and over again, like 10,000 times, to the point at the end where it's done, you're like, oh, thank God it's done. So I don't listen that much, but I have to say the one that I dropped the most everywhere when I play is Malfunction. And yeah, that one's the one I just love to
Are you
play.
saying that you're getting a lot more response from that song as opposed to any of the other songs that you get on the track?
No, it just fits the style I play. It just fits the style I play, the fast-paced, energetic kind of thing. I mean, also Keep Dropping It is one of them, which I also play after that. But Malfunction, for some reason, is my favorite, mostly because that track got so much good feedback, and it was done in 4 hours. And I always thought that this track sucks ass. But people kept like saying, no, it's good, let's do it. And then more and more feedback, like, hey, this is actually good. I'm like, okay, it also started to become my favorite track of all of that. So yeah, no. But in general, I don't listen to my tracks that much.
I always find it very funny. I know one of the stories that I love to talk about was one of the first big artists that I got to talk to in radio was Adam Lambert. And when he was coming out with his new songs and stuff, I even asked him, I ask almost everybody now, but I asked him, like, do you ever sing your own songs in the shower? Because I only assume like Taylor Swift sitting there singing 22 in the shower with the bottle or something. But he was the first one to say it. He was just like, I do, but at the same time, you'll know when I'm bored, because he'll end up like vocalizing and all the different pitches and going all over the place while he's singing. He won't sing it straight. He'll sing it with like inflections and vibrato and stuff. And he goes, you'll know when I'm bored or sick of that song when I'm just singing it all over the place. And I'm just like, that is something I would really love to hear sometime. But yeah, I mean, that's super interesting to know about as well. And kind of before we get on out of here, and I got a couple more questions for you, is one of the hardest things, especially for people in VRChat and some producers that are in VRChat, is kind of finding ways to showcase what they have without it sounding like, that they want all of the attention, or just trying to be able to sell themselves without sounding too cocky, especially for those people that write. Do you have any like good sound advice for those types of people that are interested in like promoting their music? Even in VRChat?
You mean like when they have like self-released music?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, for example, for me, like I make a lot of bootlegs, and I want to showcase the fact that I have bootlegs without me consistently spewing garbage on social media. Being like, oh, listen to this, listen to this, listen to this.
So I would say there's a difference between spamming in DMs and spamming it in social media. I think the way just like putting it out on social media and keep repeating the same thing, the same post with the same music, or like not repeating the same post, but have variations of posts with the same music on it. You should do that. You should definitely do that. You should also maybe reach out to like YouTube channels and all that. People like, hey, can you maybe feature that kind of stuff? Because they're mostly very open to it, and then it comes down if they like it or not. I think spamming someone in DM, please listen to this, doesn't work. That just like, if someone does that to me, and I did the same mistake when I was younger. I spam people DMs and I'm like, why are you not listening to my track? And it's because it's annoying. Like, just don't. If you know some DJs better, and then you ask them, hey, can you give me feedback on that? That's a whole different topic. Obviously, that's absolutely okay. But I think the best way to promote it is do multiple TikToks with different stuff, but always the same music. Play it a lot more in your sets than usual. Do Instagram, or like Instagram posts and all that kind of things, and don't spam the same person 20 times that they should listen to that. Go to SoundCloud, put it up on SoundCloud, promote it with Hyped It. Those are the kind of things you should do. like be annoying on social media, but don't be annoying on DMs kind of thing. I learned it the hard way back in my old alias where I got blocked multiple times because I just DM'd them. I'm like, okay, this isn't very good to know.
It's tough, man, because I mean, you're spending most of your time like showcasing something, and I honestly feel like there are some people there are trolls on the internet that will tell you like it is. Then there's still a ton of people that are like, oh, that's great, you know, as opposed to being honest and just being like, well, maybe you could be working on this instead.
Yeah, well, okay, here's the thing. I understand that some people are saying like, hey, this is cool, like, hey, I'm vibing it, and sometimes that's just the feedback they will give you, and sometimes I also do the same. I'm also guilty of that. And this is mostly because it is either just great, or it's just, you know, you can't get too much into detail on text and be like, oh, you know, this and this and this and this and this. I try to, if someone asks you for feedback, to give them proper feedback in response. But it is also like kind of hard, you know, because it's if you, for example, ask me like, hey, you sent me a track and I have to analyze it, I'm gonna try to give you proper feedback to it. But if the vibe is good, then the vibe is good. Then I can just say, yeah, I'm vibing to it. That's great. Like, continue with it. Like, maybe, you know, the sound is just not mastered right or whatever. But maybe that's sometimes just the feedback you will get because it's good. So don't feel too disencouraged. Even with don't rely that much on feedback either when it comes to music. Maybe this is just me. This is a hot take actually, because I used to not share my music to people. Like, I just shared it to my closest friends. And when I thought it was good, I just released it. And I thought, okay, that's it. Like, if I think it's good, it's good. Nowadays, I do ask for feedback a little bit, but also not that much. And it works out because I think the longer you produce music, the more you get a feeling what works and what doesn't work. And if you compare your music to, let's say, a high artist in your niche, then you will see, okay, the drums are louder, the bass is louder, or that is off. You will kind of notice it yourself over time. In the beginning, it's obviously hard to tell, but the more years you spend producing, the easier it gets to hear what's missing.
What's the besides the remix that we're going to be hearing very soon? What is the future of 10XX in the coming year?
A little bit uncertain. I know that I will try to release as many tracks as possible, way more than this year, way more than last year. I literally aim to have at least 6 tracks out, like also counting in Spotify, SoundCloud, where I just have my bootlegs. I want to really have a year where I'm saying this is the year where I release the most of my music, and they're all rock solid. Like, they are not amateur sounding or whatever, which is also like a huge problem for me, because out of 20 projects, one is good. All the 19 ones sounds very amateur, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. And sometimes I also do have writer blocks and all that, so I'm battling with myself a bit. That I think like it should, you know, be on standard. But yeah, that's something that I definitely want to do next year, which is release the most amount of music that I've had until this year. And else than that, I hope a lot of gigs. I really hope that we get way more gigs than this year and last year. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm still gonna stream, maybe not as much, even less, maybe, but we will see. So far, everything, I have a little plan, but we will see how it evolves next year.
And of course, you'll have an entire Discord of support behind you as well, listening to, I'm sure, whatever music you put out, we're all going to be jamming out to it anyway. Before we go, one of the quirky questions I love to ask our guests, and it might have you do a little bit of a thonk, is I would love to hear who your top 3 VRChat DJs to look up for the future.
Oh, well, I haven't been in the VRChat scene for a year, so it's kind of hard. I mean, obviously, like the one who plays the most Chixa's pretty funny and knows his stuff. That's 100%. Also, Hentalia. Hentalia is like not really a VRChat DJ that much, but he streams a lot on Twitch, and I can see his progression, which is pretty good. And he evolved quite a lot, so that's pretty dope. And well, Europe, I guess. And also, like, Sanctum streams are always nice. I mean, there's multiple DJs, I know, but I think it's always nice to get there because Sanctum features so many DJs, and you can find which one you like the most, and then head over to the Twitch if they have any, and just follow them there. So I would say Twitch-wise, VRChat-wise, in the thing, yeah, Jigsaw, Hentalia, and Sanctum as a whole.
Perfect. And for those people that haven't really been able to find you on the internet, where can everybody see all of your stuff online?
On my most favorite app, Instagram.
Hooray!
Instagram, 10xx Music. I'm also now on Blue Sky. I try to post a little bit more. It's also, I think it's 10xxmusic.blsky plus social. I don't know. Dude, Blue Sky has a weird thing with tags.
A little bit better than Twitter, that's for sure.
Yeah. Also Discord, discord.gg/10xx, where I also post free music sometimes, where we do hangouts, where we do, we're just showcasing sometimes new stuff. Twitch, 10xx Music also. I'm gonna go live tomorrow, celebrating my new release and having an end of the year party a little bit. So I'm gonna be there at 9 p.m. European time. And yeah, but if you really want to go behind the scene, it's Instagram. Instagram is just my thing.
Yeah, you definitely want to check out all the cool stuff that he was recently doing at the Drum and Bass show. That's for sure. That place was so hype, man. That Instagram was so cool. But 10xx, thank you for coming by to VRC DJ Live. Obviously, we would love to have you on again because we still have tons more things to talk about on this program.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And shout out to the chat. Shout out to my community. Again, like, you guys are absolutely special. Really, thank you so much for all the support over the years. And yeah, let's see what 2025 brings us.
Heck yeah. And actually, we're going to continue on with the celebration too for those people that haven't been able to figure out or find out. VRC DJ Live has actually gone affiliate. We finally got affiliate on Twitch, and any subscriptions, we're going to have some really neat emotes coming down the line. And any form of financial gain that you want to help with our program helps pay our staff, because that's, we work our buns off to try to put this program together. So we finally do have affiliate on here. So thank you all for your attention and coming out to the show. Just a quick housekeeping update for you guys that if you want to relive all of the things of 10xx and the things that we talked about on the show, we are going to be presenting the show yet again as a replay on YouTube with a couple of highlights just happening this weekend. So feel free to check us out on YouTube. I believe the link to that is in the bio. And make sure you join us next week, because next Thursday, and it's going to be Christmas post-Christmas, day after Christmas episode, we're going to be featuring Creepy, who does a lot of Lolita and J-pop hardcore stuff in the Japanese scene, and they do some VRChat stuff, as well as they're gonna be talking about their upcoming album and all the tours. They actually just got off a tour with Living Tombstone, so we're gonna be talking their ear off about that too. So that's gonna be happening next Thursday. Again, thank you all for your time and your energies, and for 10xx, myself and my staff, thank you for coming by to VRC DJ Live, and we will see you next week.